is always full of doubts and is always got a conflicting views on faith and science. To this effect, I remember my younger days incident where I was told to get something by my mother, and she gave me a 10 rupees note when I was young, 7, 8, 10 years, maybe 9, 10 years old. And the moment I took that 10 rupee of note, suddenly, you see, there's a gust of wind, blew, and that money, it just slipped out of my hand. And I did not know what to do. Thinking that how do I get the money? It just flew out somewhere. I just sat down and shut my eyes and prayed. Oh Allah, help me finding it. No, otherwise my mom is going to really admonish me, get angry. You are so careless, so useless. My aunt and my little sister was also watching at me. They simply followed me. They also sat down and start praying. Oh God, where the hell the money has gone? And suddenly, what happened? Watching me when they were also praying with me, one way or the other, another rupee was found. But I did not long preserve the illusion that prayer is a kind of abracadabra producing magical results. Indeed, I soon, you know, grew weary of the prayers and the rituals followed in the house, observing my seniors and elders. And in times of great moment, even today, a prayer might rise naturally to my lips. But 55 years, gone, I could not feel empathy with the many humanly small petitions that rise constantly from the troubled earth. Such were not me to understand, or such was not me to make. Now, I was a science student and grew up learning science. Now, science taught me certain disciplines. They were as stern as any religious order, religious discipline which I have acquired and learnt in my family. So, those science discipline, I ardently embraced its tenets. I'm going to talk about that. I want to share about that. The first thing I learned is that no life ever comes from no life. Where did life originate? That might have been formed under. I'm sure the life is formed. If you put up some dust or something wrapped up in an ideal situation, it will not grow up and give another life. Not possible. For life, I feel there has to be certain peculiar conditions, unique circumstances here on earth which give rise to another life. The second tenet which I understood from science is that it was equally exciting, was that the planet home of ours had a beginning billions of years ago, and that it must have a predestined end when all life on earth, including man, will cease to be. The sun will shrink and cool and become a dead star one day. The earth, losing atmosphere and oceans, will drift farther and farther from the sun until in something less than an eternity of time it will be cold as Pluto, the most distant of the planet. This prospect exhilarated rather than depressed me aware that in theology, the end of us all is called the Day of Atonement, the Last Judgment, the Rose Kayamat, Pralay, and so many things. My friend, most appealing of all this to a young man who loved the freedom of thought was a third tenet, namely that there is no revealed authority. I was taught that because you read something in the Quran or in the Rig Veda or even the Bible, it isn't necessarily true. Moreover, these professors of mine who was teaching me science made clear that science is skeptical of its own authority. Darwin, Mendel, Galton, Sir Isaac Newton. I realize that a thrill may be scrapped at any time in favor of a better explanation. My friend, the fourth tenet of the science, again, I marvel at the parallel to the poetry of a whole lot of scriptures, maybe Genesis, parables, proverbs, or the any other scripture, is the fact of evolution. I found that how evolution works is still being argued, but evolution itself is unquestioned, a great and shining fact that makes the world more wonderful. A fifth tenet was the atomic nature of all matter. It's not a new idea, but old as the great philosophers have said it. I could not guess that this was a truth that was to reveal more and more terrifying truths. Out of these tenets, my friend, was formed for me a creed, the creed of pure science. But what there in it? When I think to ask myself, any foundations for the faith that beings and to the soul in travail? I wondered, only passing, having no troubles. I inclined for a time to become a disciple of scientists or the people or the philosophers like Aristotle and Adam of learning, who taught that existence had its origins in supreme intelligence and that everything has an intelligent cause and serves its useful purpose. That purpose being the development of higher planes of existence. My friend, science taught the great old pre-scientists had but to put the pieces of the puzzle together to expose for praise the cosmic design is simply all beautiful. But later, in the course of time, I saw very near and dear ones, despite availability of the best medical facility and the science, this thing, we could not say them, they lost their lives. It further confuses you what is truth, the science or the faith. It's only after Zara's birth I was caught up with the web of life actually. I saw more clearly that man is a part of the nature and whatever he believes must be based on this fact. A man's blood is seawater and his tears are simply salt. The seed of lions is scarcely different from the small cells in a seawood. My friend, with losses and unanswered questions, what I witnessed in life, I feel life, I thought, just as an old trick of escaping, changing, transmuting into some other lovely shape. An impossible element, of course. I realize that the most purest prayer or the most skilled science do not always prevail. Yet in our face, just nothing but acceptance, accepting the day it unfolds itself, be it prayer, faith, or science. I know that God is more than life. God is more than death. He controls no scientific, he controverts actually no scientific laws, no natural processes. He will ultimately outlast the shrinking of the sun and chilling stars. जब मैं न था तो खुदा था, गालिब जब कुछ न था तो खुदा था, कुछ न होगा तो खुदा होगा, डुबाया मुझको होने ने, मैं न होता तो क्या होता. You see, ultimately he prevails over everything. In love of him, there is no room for all memories of thinking, including that devout wonder with which I am now content. I remember a young spinster dying of cancer dared to define God. Though earth and moon were gone, and suns and universe ceased to be, and how were and thou were left alone, every existence would exist in thee. Beautiful. With these assurances, my friend, such company, it is easy for a man to travel the last of the road. Thank you very much.